I'm Shelby, and this should be Courtney. We're exploring our past, looking forward to our future, and living for the present, all while learning how to live magically. Today's conversation is with Kellie, who I will explain how we met. Is such a small world. I'm bummed Courtney couldn't be here today. She, of course, had a scheduling conflict on the day that we were looking forward to this pod. We've been looking forward to this one for like 3 weeks now. But we have a conversation with Kellie. She is a Disney local who is a NICU nurse who also works for Storybook Nannies and is just full of gratitude and just grateful for every day. So it was a really great conversation. I enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. So let's jump into this. Hello.
Hi.
Courtney and I, who is not here, have been so looking forward to this conversation. And then, of course, she had a scheduling conflict, but it is fine. We're going to have this great conversation anyways. Before we even jump into this and who you are, I just need to tell the people how we met.
Please do.
Okay. So it was runDisney last January, right? I think it was marathon weekend for the 10K. And we're in the corrals, and I believe you said hi to me because you followed me, or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say hello, and we started chit-chatting, and thankfully we clicked, because if anybody does runDisney, you know that you're stuck in these corrals for a really long time with people. So good thing we liked each other. And we just start chit-chatting, yada, yada, yada. You were great. Your husband was great. Courtney was with me, obviously. And you started telling me how you are from up here in New England and you went to Salve. And I just happened to ask if you knew one of our friends who went to Salve, and you did. And he was in our wedding, he's one of Kyle's best friends. It's just such a small world. And now here we are.
It is a crazy small world.
That is just proof that this world is so small. But anywho, hello, Kellie. Welcome to the pod.
Hi.
We are so happy to have you. Let's start off by learning a little bit about you. I feel like I don't even know all the things about you, but I do know that you and Courtney are both transplants to Florida. You are from Connecticut, yes?
Kind of. So I was born in Massachusetts, moved to New Hampshire when I was 12. Lived there until college. Yeah. Lived in New Hampshire until I went to college in Rhode Island. Was there for 5 years, and then moved to Connecticut for 7 years. So I just say I'm from New England because I've lived in 4 of the states.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my family though is in New Hampshire. What
part?
In Lancaster, up in the White Mountains.
Oh, okay.
It's
so
really
yeah, way up there. I'm basically in Massachusetts.
Yeah, they're basically in Canada.
So then you moved to Florida with your husband.
Yes.
How long ago now?
We moved here last August, so a little over a year we've been living here. My husband's whole family lives in South Florida in Jupiter. So we originally always thought we would move there after we got married, but we wanted to be closer to Disney.
Of course.
We're still not too far from them, so.
And I'm guessing no regrets.
No regret. Our regret is not doing it sooner.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so now that you live close to Disney, you're always in the parks, which we will get to. But if you are not in the parks, what can we find you doing?
So I am a nurse at Advent Health for Children in downtown Orlando. I work in the NICU.
Amazing. Thank you.
3 days, 3 days a week I'm taking care of the tiny babies, and then the other days I'm at Disney.
I love that. Can we jump into, I'm already going to get off track because this is really important question that I have to ask you that I found out about you recently because you brought up your job. You were on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yes.
Right around the pandemic. Yes.
Yes.
For
it was probably the craziest experience of my life.
We'll get the link from you and we'll put it in our show notes so people can watch this because that's where I found it. It was on your Instagram. And you were with like the whole cast of Frozen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to give it away. They were like giving you gifts for your wedding, something borrowed, something blue, new, whatever that saying is. And the most important one that I saw was Idina Menzel gave you her Elsa dress that she wore with Taylor Swift's concert.
Oh, yeah. So I have to elaborate on that.
Yes, please do.
So, Idina Menzel was the only one to not carry through with her gift. I have very harsh feelings towards Idina Menzel, and it's really bad because she has such a good voice, and I love listening to her, but we actually have a grudge against her.
Oh my gosh. So all the other people sent you the gifts that they brought on the Zoom call.
And Belle literally asked for my address, sent me my package to the house with a note from her. Idina Menzel, the Jimmy Kimmel producers reached out to her 3 times to follow through, and she never got back to them. So.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know, Jacob actually said in his wedding vows that he would never stop harassing Idina Menzel until I get my dress.
Seriously, though. Now, remind me the other things that they gave you?
An Olaf from Jonathan Groff, who plays Kristoff. And then Kristen Bell gave me a Golden Girls puzzle. It was supposed to be my something borrowed, but she sent me my own version because she knew that I wouldn't want to give it back. She wrote that in the note, which is funny. And then my something new was $10,000.
And you actually got the $10,000?
I did.
Okay, good. But you didn't get that dress. Oh my gosh, that was like the thing that I was like, I was
way more excited about the dress than the money.
I would have been too. Wow. Okay. I'll put that link in there because I watched it. I think it must have been like however many years ago and you shared it. And I was like crying. What an experience that had to have been. Way better than this Zoom. Sorry to disappoint. Okay, so you moved to Disney. Obviously, you moved to the Disney area because you have a passion for Disney. Have you always had a passion for Disney, or where did that come from?
Yeah, ever since I can remember, my family, we went to Disney every year growing up, and my parents were also obsessed with Disney. Our house was always just covered in Disney everything. Like, it was just how I was raised. And when people went to my parents' house, they would say, "Oh, this makes sense." Like, just how I grew up. I mean, throughout high school, I even had a Disney Princess lunchbox. In college, I had princess posters hanging on my walls instead of, boy bands or something.
I love that. My family definitely is the reason why I have my obsession with Disney, but they never really admitted it. And then we look at all these pictures of when I was younger, and like every single thing that I had was Disney related. Like, I'm in a Minnie Mouse high chair. All my outfits were Minnie Mouse. And I'm like, and you wonder where I got it from. This was you. You did this to me. Okay. And then lastly, you're a runDisney girl. That is how we met. How did that whole thing aspire for you?
I started runDisney in 2018. I signed up for my first race. I had never ran a day in my life. I never played a sport. I walked the mile in gym class. You
sound like us.
Yeah, but I signed up as motivation to work out because I needed something to get me to work out. And Jacob, my husband, had said, "If you can run 10-minute miles for your first race, I'll pay for the whole Disney trip." And I said, "Okay, I'll try." I didn't, so. But
you run fast miles.
Yeah, but not for that whole 10K.
But I'm serious. I've followed your training, and you train hard. Give yourself some credit for that.
Yeah, I know. Because I haven't been a runner, I really commit to the training. So.
So you have done a half marathon now, right? You have that under your belt?
I did my first half back at Princess Weekend in February. I signed up for 2 more halves this season. I have 7 races I signed up for this season
Oh
total.
my
So
gosh, I'm so happy for you. Okay, so I need to know your half experience. When you ran it, were you like loving every minute of it? Did you end and you were like, I'm never doing this ever again? Like, where were you at?
honestly, I loved every minute and I could have kept going. And then I was like, should I do the full marathon next year? Like nothing felt sore on me. Like I was so comfortable the whole time. I think because I trained so hard because I was so nervous. So I felt really
Oh, okay. So anybody listening, apparently training does help. That's not something that Courtney and I are really fond of. And our first half marathon we did it with no training. And we just went in and tried our best and it was miserable. And we said we would never do it again. And now I think we've done like 6.
Yeah, no, I almost signed up for the full after that. But I do think I also walk in the parks like weekly, like
That is true.
up to 10 miles a day. So I think my legs and my feet are so accustomed to the Disney pavement. I really feel like that makes a difference.
No, it absolutely does because I always say the hardest part for me for running long distances is that my feet start to hurt. It's not that like my knees or my legs start to hurt or like I'm out of breath. It's my feet are throbbing. And it's like, I don't know how I'm going to continue on. So I think that does definitely make a huge difference. Which, speaking of, so you're in the parks all the time because you work for, besides also being a nurse, you work for Storybook Nannies.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit, I guess, about Storybook Nannies? Because I think I'm going to need you soon.
I really hope you see soon. The Storybook Nannies, we are nannies in the theme parks or at the resorts. So we will watch your little ones for you or with you in the parks as an extra set of hands, or we can watch your baby if you want to ride roller coasters that they might not be able to, or if you have older kids that want to ride some of the big rides that you want to ride with them and you don't want to have to worry about rider swap. We're just an extra set of hands for that. Or we do resort watches. We can put your kids to bed if you want to stay out later, if you want to go to dinner, have any adult only time on your trip. That is probably what we are used for most, I would say, is the resort watches.
Yeah.
We also watch locals for local date nights, and we do Disney weddings too.
Amazing. Is there like the youngest age, or is it any age group?
Any age. We'll watch newborns up to like, we've had like teenagers, like we'll take them back to the hotel type situation. So
Amazing.
all ages.
We're hoping to go in May. He'll be like 6 months old.
That's my favorite age. I'm watching a 6-month-old tonight, actually.
Amazing. Great. And I mean, you're like a NICU nurse. Like, what can go wrong?
I know.
That's the trust.
Great hand.
So, I mean, of course you are a NICU nurse, so I'm sure you've had a lot of like great experiences and not so great experiences. But what would you say is like your most like unique experience as a storybook nanny?
A few. Honestly, this has been the best thing to happen to me since I've moved here. It has been like, this is like a dream come true of mine because I have just been getting paid to go to Disney and play at Disney and ride rides and everything. But my favorite day, I got paid to go on a VIP tour with a family.
Ooh, that's a bucket list item for me.
Same. And I just can't fathom paying for a VIP tour when I live here and I'm in the parks all the time.
Of course.
But the fact that I got paid to be on the VIP tour was amazing.
That is, yeah. Have you watched, do you have families that you watch frequently, or are they more like a one-time thing? Or how long have you been doing this with Storybook Nannies? Sorry, I have so many questions.
Storybook Nannies opened in January. I started with them in March.
Oh, okay.
We're getting very well known. Like we're getting more well known now, so we're blowing up. We're very busy.
Yeah.
I just started seeing my repeat customers from people who came in the spring who are here on their fall trips.
And they came back for more.
Yeah. And I've watched a bunch of people who say, oh, we'll book you next year. But usually people only do this yearly. But there are a few families who I know who are coming a couple times a year, and I just saw my first repeat customer 2 weeks ago, and then I have one again in November. So
that's gonna be cool to like look back on, if especially for families who do like yearly trips, and you get to see them like once a year and how much they like grow and change and evolve, especially like in a Disney park.
I know. The actually the family I did the VIP tour with, they have a baby. I want to say she was like 18 months, and she's coming back in November, and I'm watching her, and so I'm excited to like. And they're coming again in like February, so I'm just gonna keep watching her like grow. It's gonna be so fun.
That is so fun. Yeah. Do you get to like follow? Maybe this is too personal. Like, do you get to follow them like on social media too after?
Oh yeah. I feel like all the families end up following me, and I follow them. So
Yeah, I love that. Oh, amazing. So I guess that would be your story of like your best theme park experience as a storybook nanny.
I would say.
Okay, wait, I have more questions about this VIP tour. Was it like the all four parks? Was it one park?
We did 3 parks. We did Hollywood Studios
With an 18-month-old?
and Epcot. Hmm.
Wow.
They had 2 older kids. I want to say they were like 5 and 7 maybe. And the mom was here by herself with all 3 kids. So she just needed an extra set of hands. She's like, just pretend you're my husband for the weekend. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I can imagine with 3 kids that young at Disney, she would need an extra set of hands for sure. Okay, so something on the pod that we like love to do is manifest. So, do you have any big future dreams or goals in your life that you're willing to share with us that we can manifest for you?
Sure. Okay, so a dream of mine would be to nanny on a Disney cruise.
Ooh, yeah, let's manifest that one for sure.
Yeah. Other than that, like my future goals is to have my own baby, raise them in the parks, and find like a local who also needs a nanny, like a full-time nanny, and just watch the babies together.
Oh,
That's like my goal in life.
I love that. Maybe I need to move down to Florida.
Yeah, I'll watch your baby with mine.
Got
my non-existent hypothetical baby.
Someday. Okay, something that you do that I love is you post, you're like, I don't know if you do this like weekly, but you are so genuinely grateful for what you have and like what you have accomplished in living in Disney. And you do these like gratitude checks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that. Do you have one on the top of your mind right now that you can share? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Ooh, I don't know. So it all started because my neighbor here, she's become one of my best friends. She started them with me. She'd be like, gratitude check, look what we're doing. It's a Monday night and we're just walking around the park, or we're driving home from running errands and we're watching the fireworks. Like, it's just gratitude. I don't know if I have like one off the top of my head.
That's okay.
I would say like just in general, I'm very grateful that I go to Disney so often, and I never want to lose sight of that. You know, some families are here for their once in a lifetime trip, and like walking around the parks, I always try to be mindful of that. Not feel like, it's my, I don't know. Some locals feel like this is their park. And,
no, I completely agree. And I even feel that way as somebody who is very like lucky enough to travel as much as I do down to Disney. Is I have to remind myself, like, some people get to do this once ever in their life, or maybe like never.
Mm-hmm.
Or like when I get down to the parks and I'm so frustrated about like how busy or how crowded it is, and then you just sit back and you're like, there's a family here that this is the only time they're ever going to be here. And when you think about it that way, it's like, who cares that you're waiting in this line for, an extra however long? I don't know.
That's how I just try to do my whole outlook on life in general. I feel like it's how I've gotten through so many things. It's just always trying to find the silver lining in everything. Like the other day I was at the parks, it was crowded, but my friends were visiting. But the weather was beautiful. So I just kept saying, but how nice is it outside?
I love that. It's so true though. Can you give us a day now that you're a Disney local? Give us a day, your dream day, let's say, because I know you go to the Disney parks a lot. Dream day in the parks as a local.
Dream day. My friend told me to say our favorite day to go to Disney is a day we don't have to shower right when we get home because it was so hot. But no, really. So the weather, nice and cool. Maybe need a sweatshirt. No crowds. It's usually around January. Like my birthday week is usually like the perfect weather, and it's my favorite time because it's my birthday anyway. So that's what I look forward to.
Now I'm going to be honest, you're not like the average local. You will happily, from what I've seen, rope drop to park close if you could every day. Where
I'm a little crazy.
Like Courtney and I'm not even a local. We can't rope drop. It's just like not for us. We get there like mid-afternoon, stroll in, and you've probably already done 2 parks by the time we get there.
It depends. If I have people visiting, I will go open to close with them because I want them to have like the full experience. But if I'm just going by myself, I just bebop in and out. But
I'm just saying, you're like a true good for you. Okay, before we have all of our guests share their tip for living magically, but before we get to that, I'm just putting that in your head right now. I'm going to do some rapid fire questions with you, of course, about Disney. If they're not as rapid fiery, that is okay. We can get into discussions on them, which is totally fine. Your favorite Disney park?
Okay, so Magic Kingdom.
Good answer. That is the correct
My
answer.
favorite park for magic and nostalgia, but I go to Epcot the most.
That's fair. I would say those are the top 2 parks. Courtney's favorite park is Animal Kingdom, and I'll just never understand it.
I understand why.
Okay, fine.
It's not my favorite, but I could see why.
But like of all the parks, like there's not a castle at Animal Kingdom, you know?
True.
You kind of already said this, but your favorite time of year or season in the parks?
My birthday.
January. Yes. Okay, but now I'm going to ask you another question. Halloween in the parks or Christmas in the parks?
That, is really tough for me, but I'm going to have to say Christmas just because of the weather.
I think that is a complete valid answer, yes. I will never forget, Kyle and I went, it was probably like 2 years ago now for Christmas, but it was actually in like November. And I kept telling him, you need a sweatshirt, you need a sweatshirt, you need a sweatshirt. And he was like, no, I'm fine. It's so nice out. It's so nice out. And we were going to a Christmas party. And the second the sun went down, it got so cold. He was frigid. And he ended up being like miserable most of the night. I'm like, let's just go buy you a sweatshirt. Like, you don't understand. It gets cold there.
Yeah, we wore our winter jackets at the Christmas party last year in November.
It's like the best feeling though.
I know, it was really magical.
But I do remember your husband doesn't do well in the cold.
No, he does not. No.
I remember this from our waiting in the corral the first time we met for runDisney. And he was like, I might not run the princess because it's just going to be too cold for me.
If you remember, I had to give him my sweatshirt that morning, and I was in the tank top so he could have an extra layer.
I love it. Okay, your favorite Disney snack?
I'm gonna have to say the cheeseburger spring rolls in Magic Kingdom, which, if I remember listening to your podcast, you haven't had them.
I have had them, and they are.
Courtney hasn't.
Courtney has not had them, but
one of you guys had not tried them, and I was like, oh.
It's not me. It's definitely like top 5 favorite snacks for me. I think it's because like she is not like you as a local, and she gets there so late, and that cart's only like open till 4.
Well, I'm judging her because she could just easily drive down the street and try them.
We are all judging her because that's just not the correct answer. Cheeseburger spring rolls are where it's at. Okay, any special Disney memory that you have to share?
I had to think about this one for a while because I have a lot of special memories, but my favorite memory since moving here was the night that Fantasmic came back in the fall since it closed with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was my favorite night ever. It was just a whole stadium full of Disney super fans. We waited for hours for the show, and it was louder than any sporting event I had ever been to. Like everybody just screaming for Mickey and every single
Oh,
character. And I don't know why. It just like it brought chill. Like I get chills thinking about it. It was just the coolest experience I've ever had.
yeah, well, it's because it was closed for so long.
I know, and it's the best show. But just like being with so many people like me, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what like when I didn't live here, I always felt like I was so weird and I was so different because nobody else I couldn't find any other big Disney fans where I was living before. Or I would like find like a few, but not at my
Not,
caliber.
yeah,
Nobody
yeah, yeah,
interested
yeah.
in me. But here I feel like I belong, and it was a little after we had just moved here and I was like, wow, this is so cool.
I love that. That just made me think, so you have a following on Instagram. Did you start your Instagram like when you moved there or beforehand?
Before. I had it for a couple of years before I moved here.
And do you think it like blew up when before you moved here or after?
I think before, honestly, I feel like I posted more before I moved here because I would fly down and just focus on getting content
Mm-hmm.
from my Instagram. But now that I'm here, I'm so busy with everything else.
Yeah.
And in the parks, I try to be in the moment with like my husband or I'm working there or
Right. It's
so
different when it's like your day-to-day life.
I think I'm probably the minority. Like my followers have probably gone down since I've moved here because I feel like my last priority.
No, I think that's just, but it's also just like the way like life works. You just, the older you get, the busier you get. Or at least that's how I feel lately. Okay, and then lastly, for our rapid fire questions, the best Run Disney race that you have done thus far.
I would have to say the best one would be my half marathon that I just ran for Princess because it was my first half marathon and I honestly just smiled the whole 13 miles. I was so excited. So
Again, people, you should train for half marathons. That is what I'm taking away from this podcast today. Do you have one that you're looking forward to most? Like a Run Disney race?
yes. I'm doing every race for Princess Weekend this year. And it's my first time doing a challenge, and it's the Frozen challenge, which obviously have serious emotional ties to Frozen. So I am going to run the half marathon as Olaf,
Oh my
and I
god.
can't wait.
And those medals came out like the other day. And
Right.
I will admit, they're way better than I expected because for me personally, when I saw the art when they first came out with it, I didn't love the art. It looked too like, I want to say like blocky to me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the way that they did those medals, they are stunning. I love them.
Yeah, I don't love what they did to Ariel. I think they could have done her a little bit better, but the
Okay,
Olaf on the Frozen medal, I screamed. I was so excited.
and it's so cute, and it's like a big one, the Frozen one.
Yeah.
One more rapid fire question: who is your favorite princess?
I have two because I have a hard time picking favorites. So Rapunzel and Cinderella.
Oh, those are good ones. Those are good ones. Okay, lastly, we need your tip to living magically. It could be something that you take with your day-to-day life or something that you have learned throughout your life. Just a tip that we can give the people.
All right. I think I'm going to bring it back to what we were talking about and just trying to do gratitude checks and try to look at life as a full perspective. And if you feel like you're going through something hard or something doesn't feel so magical in that moment,
Hmm.
just look at the bigger picture. I feel like that's what I always try to do.
I love that. I need that today, actually. I'm having a hard pregnancy week, and I do try to remind myself every moment that I'm just grateful that I'm pregnant, even though on the hard days. And so I needed that check this week for sure. And then lastly, where can people find you?
On Instagram, magically.kelly with an IE.
I was going to say Kellie with an IE. Amazing. And I mean, that's all I got for you, unless you have anything else that you would like to share with all of us.
No, I'm just very excited. Thank you for having me on here. And I can't wait for you to come down with your baby so I can meet him.
Yes. And everybody go. And do you know Storybook Nannies Instagram on the top of your head? Is it just Storybook Nannies?
Storybook Nannies. Yep.
And are people allowed to request you?
Yes, they can.
Perfect. So if you need a nanny or just an extra set of hands, request Kellie with Storybook Nannies. I will be doing that.
And I actually am watching somebody you referred me to this weekend.
Oh, my esthetician.
Yeah.
Amazing. I didn't know that she actually went through with that.
Yeah, Sunday and Monday.
Oh, Lucy is the best. I've never actually met her, but I just hear all of her stories, and she is like, she's at a really fun age right now. You're going to have a blast. Oh, that's so awesome. All right, well, great. Thank you so much for chatting with just me. I'm so sad that Courtney couldn't be here. She was looking forward to this conversation so much, but maybe we will have to do this again post baby, like after you've hung out with us all. That would be fun. We could do a little recap.
Love that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we will chat soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Whew, did it. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it's fun.
And no, I really didn't know that you were, that she had asked me if I knew somebody who did that, and I said you, but she didn't tell me that she actually reached out. So that's so exciting.
Yeah, her and her sister-in-law or something.
Yeah, they have 2 little kids too.
Yeah. So I'm going to be with all 3 of them Sunday night and Monday night.
Oh, that's so awesome.
They were so cute. Like weeks ago, they like sent me pictures of all the kids. Like they were so excited.
They did their first Disney trip last Christmas. And she's like, I have to go again. So now they're going in the fall, and they're like already ready to buy DVC. So yeah, amazing. All right. Well, that's all I have. And I'll message you soon. Let me know how you do this weekend with those kids.
I will. And good luck with everything. I hope your pregnancy week gets better.
Oh, thanks. I just have like a lot on my plate, but it's fine. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.